Hey guys, Dov here, back with another unit highlight. This time we're breaking into a new series, once again, this time Best in Class, where I talk about the unit that is very clearly the best in its class. Today we're talking about, of course, Blood Knights, one of the few units I like on the Vampire Counts roster, and clearly the best heavy shock cavalry, or just generally the best shock cavalry in the game. Got them against the Empire. This is round 2 between myself and Gilles Le Breton, and he has taken the Empire. He banned, I can't remember who he banned, probably Dwarfs and someone else, I don't remember exactly, but I decided to pick Vampire Counts because as an Empire player, this is probably one of the matchups that worries me the most, in quotations. This might be like 3rd or 4th on that list, but it is a matchup that can potentially be challenging. So here I've got Vlad on foot with a White King. We've got a Necromancer on a cart, just with Forbidden Rod in the cart to make him regenerate and everything. Sternsman in the center, and you can see I've kind of repositioned my infantry here. Whoops. Got a whole bunch of zombies, 5 zombies, kind of spread out in a pentagon. And of course we've got the Blood Knights here, and Chillgeist plus Dire Pack. After a game I had against Slaxel and Soothsayer in one of the faction wars, I believe it was, where I was playing Vampire Counts to express how much I hate them, he kited me with an Empire build, and as a result I've made some modifications to my kind of standard Vlad build versus Empire. Brought the Chillgeist in. They are a pretty big risk here because the Empire has a lot of magic damage, but Gilles Le Breton has some. He's got the Bright Wizard here, and the Witch Hunter also has magic damage, but not a lot else besides that. 3 Knights of the Blazing Sun, 4 Pistoliers, a few Halberds, and yeah, Sigmar's Sons. I've got a couple bats as well, Unholy Lodestone, and a regular Corpse Cart, but back to the Blood Knights. So what makes them number 1 in class? Well, for first, they have almost 80 charge bonus, which is competitive with all, other units in this class. I believe there are a couple others that are better, like Chaos Knights I think have 80, and I think Dragon Princes also have 80, but 78's pretty good, and considering that some of that comes from Frenzy, also means they have 40 melee attack, 40 melee defense, pretty good stats overall. I think, again, Dragon Princes might have slightly better stats on baseline, but the main thing here is that Blood Knights can regenerate unit models. Not only do they have stats on par with other units in their class, including a nice anti-large bonus of 22. Wow, that is a serious anti-large bonus. So keep in mind they're hitting for like 62 melee attack and 68 weapon strength, not including their charge bonus. You then include the charge bonus, you're going north of, 130, 140 charge bonus, melee attack and weapon strength on the initial charge. Plus, you can then even give them, Dance Macabre on top of that, and they're basically guaranteed hits. Not guaranteed per se, but they're at 90% chance to hit against most units in that situation. So that's one of the reasons they're so strong, is the lore that supports them. Lore of Vampires is by far the strongest lore in the game, because it has summons, it has the best heal in the game, and also has one of the best melee attack buff spells in the game, in my opinion. But, yeah, just in comparison to other units in the class, no other units can regenerate unit models. Like, I guess technically if you include Necropolis Knights, maybe they can, but even then, like, Tomb Kings don't have the most direct healing. Just in general, the ability to easily heal your unit models, and it's... I mean, if you're playing your cards right, and microing your Blood Knights well, it's very hard for your opponent to actually finish them off. You can get them very, very low and still recover them basically back up to their healing cap, no problem. But anyway, going back to the battle at hand, you can see I've just been kind of skirmishing back and forth with these Chillgeist and the Dire Pack as well, trying to catch Pistoliers whenever I could. Over here, we swung in some bats to tie down these Pistoliers while we got a bit of a hit-and-run charge there. I've used a couple of Overcast Dance Macabres already, and I also burned a zombie summon there. Try and hold some of those knights back. We've mostly not gotten a lot of damage, but the speed element is nice when I hit and then have to run back. I want to avoid getting charged by the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Speaking of high charge, Knights of the Blazing Sun are also a very good heavy shock cavalry. They're probably, again, 78 charge bonus, same as Blood Knights, actually, really good. Much less melee defense, though, less armor, and obviously slower, and also can't heal unit models, which is huge. So the Chillgeist and the Dire Pack are now going to come in. We hit them with a preemptive heal and again pull away. I'm just trying to pull these knights out of position so that I can get a good charge on them, with the Blood Knights, and especially with these guys if I can support here. Again, we don't really get the engagement that I want, so right now it's kind of... This skirmish fight is actually kind of going in Gilles' favor. To be honest, he probably should pull his infantry force back, maybe even to the woods here, and just continue to kind of hit and run and kite with the Pistoliers shooting. But for the time being, he's a little bit, you know, kind of blobbed up on his infantry right here. Knights of the Blazing Sun going to come for another hit and run charge in the front. But then the Pistoliers get caught over here on the side, and this is basically where things start to turn. Yeah, the Hounds come through. Get a giant Dance Macabre that hits all 4 of these units, so they're all juiced up the gills. 58 melee attack and great armor-piercing weapon strength for the Chill Guys as they roll through. They are actually on the Pistoliers, so the AP doesn't matter, but yeah, the Knights actually managed to pull away, and most of the charge gets taken by the Sigmar Sons and these Halberdiers here, which is nice. The Pistoliers definitely starting to take some serious damage, though, and more than that, Boris Todbringer, actually, has swooped down to the ground, and because of that, I can now kind of come in here, and we've done a few things. Summon some zombies to bog down these halberds and keep these knights from supporting. Path the Chill Guys back to hold him on the ground, and now charge in with the Blood Knights and Vlad as well. Vlad's a pretty strong combatant. No, doesn't have the best AP values, but just a strong combatant in general, so if he can get in here and get some hits on Boris, you know, while he's saturated in the cavalry, that's going to be great. Another Overcast Invocation of Nehek, I believe, perhaps, to heal up this mobile force. Yep. Trying to stabilize these Dire Pack and keep the Chill Guys alive into the late game, so that chilling aura is just so nice. And at this point, we've also engaged a lot of the Empire infantry as well. So these Sternsmen here with the Unholy Lodestone, no, they actually didn't get with the Unholy Lodestone. Yeah, they're still fine. Still getting plenty of regeneration. Haven't lost but 4 unit models, and yeah, just doing fine with the White King stacked on top of them. Now we're starting to turn this back line here. You can see the Knights of the Blazing Sun. Once the numbers advantage, once they lose that, then I can be a lot more aggressive in going after them. Cascading Firecloak tries to save that unit, but the Chill Guys terrify them away. Blood Knights just absolutely terrorizing. Boris has also taken a lot of damage here. Vlad has just been kicking him, kicking the Griffin's beak, you know, like grabbing Boris's ankle and just poking him with the, I don't know, poking him with the sword. Now this Witch Hunter's here, trying to hold the line, do his thing. His magic damage hasn't been super impactful. He did get some shots and attacks in on the Chill Guys at various points, but now Vlad, since Boris has gone off and decided to play with the cavalry, Vlad's like, oh, hello, sir. And this is just a bad day for the almost said Vampire Hunter, Witch Hunter, being pressed into Vampire. He is no Van Helsing. Yep, and you can see my mobile force has just about crumbled away. The Chill Guys have actually not quite got to their healing cap, but have tanked out a lot of damage. Same with the Dire Pack, all things considered. Probably one of the best wolf units, if not the best, dog units in the game, like Hound. Blood Knights also, again, taking quite a bit of damage, but we've been able to keep that healing sustained, and they've just about both got an XP Chevron. Yeah, one of them like an XP Chevron and a half. Blazing Suns countercharging in, absolutely beautiful cinematic shot. I'm going to pull away from that, just nope straight out of there. That Kindle Flame plus the high charge bonus will definitely punch the Blood Knights pretty hard. It's like a blast as well from the Bright Wizard hits this Corpse Card. Unfortunately, the Corpse Card's basically just HP sponges here. Like, you kind of do need to commit to killing them to get rid of the buffs, but also at the same time, they're very cheap, so it's a little bit of waste of resources, can be at least. Oh man, just all the graphics tanking the frame rates, but Boris dives down to try and help his Knights of Blazing Sun with one final stand, but it is too much for them. And the Chill Guys actually barely terrify away a couple units there before they themselves crumble. But it is enough, breaks all 3 of these Knights. They were basically broken anyway. But with that, it's pretty much over. Pistoliers don't really have much ammo left. This Witch Hunter's got a tiny bit of ammo, but Jill's going to go ahead and concede the game there. Definitely understandable. And this is not the only replay where you can see Blood Knights doing well on my channel. In fact, if you go to the Vampire Counts playlist on my channel and look at the games, especially the games that I've played, almost exclusively using Blood Knights. Like, I tend not to really use the monster-heavy builds with the Vampire Counts. Usually I play off of the Blood Knights. I'm just a cavalry guy. You guys probably know that by now if you have been watching the channel for any length of time. But yeah, I'm a big fan, especially of like knights and stuff, like that heavy shock cavalry. Blood Knights being the best in class means that, yes, it is fun for me to play the vampire count sometimes, as much as I detest undead and meme about them being the worst and crumbling, not not working correctly and whatever. The Blood Knights are a legitimately awesome unit and definitely super, super strong. Give the vampire counts a nice option to not rely entirely on that monster mash, which I'm a big fan of. Yeah, nice job by the Knights of the Blazing Sun too. For the most part, Gilles was able to keep them safe pretty much until the late game. I think, again, the main thing is he probably wanted to try and pull back with that infantry and utilize his mobile units to try and hit and run and kite a little bit more. Because if you look, I mean, I've got quite a bit of investment here between these 3 units plus the Dire Pack, but I mean, 3 Knights of the Blazing Sun plus 4 Pistoliers plus Boris, and I guess you could consider the Bright Wizard too, since he was on a Pegasus, all kind of in a mobile engagement. That's more resources than I have, even in these Blood Knights and the Chill Guys and so on, so he could have potentially forced a bad engagement for me. And even if I get a bad engagement, the nice thing about Blood Knights is you can recover them and stabilize, and they're very forgiving in that way. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Blood Knights. They're good in literally every matchup. I would say even against Vampire Coast, like 1 unit might be good, or even against Dwarfs as well, just because that high charge bonus, especially against Dwarfs, this is something that people have kind of forgotten about, it seems, but Dwarfs, because they have such high melee defense on a lot of their units, it's pretty tough, especially for undead factions, to make consistent contact in melee with certain units. This has been a matchup that's been perceived as tough for the vampire counts, although some people will definitely argue against that. But anyway, the point is, you might not think to bring these guys against the dwarfs because they're anti-large, but still, that high charge bonus, the fact that they can heal unit models as well, can stabilize them, and this also, when they're not in melee, they gain an additional 22% missile resistance, which is very nice against the dwarfs, so while you're positioning them, they're not going to take as much damage from small arms fire. They do take damage from cannons, you can heal them back, which is, unique to them in terms of shock cavalry, I guess, Black Knights as well, but you know what I mean. And then, yeah, that high charge bonus to bypass the melee defense of dwarfs, especially if you get a good rear or side charge where you're bypassing a greater proportion of their melee defense, but even like charging a unit like Iron Breakers, I mean, you wouldn't want to charge them from the front anyway while they're braced because they have charge defense, but charging them even while their bracing bonus is broken, let's say, and they've still got 68 melee defense, so having that much of a charge bonus just helps you get over that hump of that high melee defense and deal effective damage, especially to the higher tier, like Iron Breakers in particular, Longbeards also. 48 melee defense is pretty good. With Dance Macabre and other buffs, your own like armor-piercing infantry can get up there as well, but Blood Knights with charge bonus, you don't have to expend as much buffs for them to be able to get those consistent hits. So anyway, hopefully I've rambled on long enough. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.